just getting my cameras arranged. So welcome if you are here. I'm waiting to see if you'll be able to see the top of my head. I think you should be able to. Okay, good, good, good. Here we are. I'm coming around. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to reload my page so I can see all your wonderful comments. My name is Elena and welcome to another episode of Colavita Cooking Live. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, as hopefully you know because you've been coming back multiple times and we thank you so much for it. I really like doing this. So it's been a really pleasant experience during this time of working at home. So let's see. I'm just gonna get a view. Of course, the interwebs are moving slowly. Okay, kind of might need to adjust my camera on Facebook since the top of my head is getting cut off. So let me do that, and then we're gonna get right to cooking. Okay. All right. Hopefully that should do it. You'll see most of my head anyway. That's about all you need. Okay. So today, the votes were unanimous, well, almost unanimous, for carrot and zucchini fritters. This is an all-veggie recipe, so vegetarians rejoice, and it is really, really good. I wrote this recipe about 2 years ago, and it's bright, it's beautiful, it's perfect for late spring. We've got zucchini and scallions, which are spring onions, and as you know, it's spring. And it's really just the best spring veggies all combined in these beautiful fritters, which we are going to pan fry in extra virgin olive oil. Shocker, I know. So I'm gonna take you through everything. It's a bit of a process. I feel like I've been frying a lot of things lately on this show, but that's okay. All right, so let's get started. In a small bowl up here, I have a cup of flour, just 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of coriander. Really nice spice for the carrots especially, I love that. Oh look, you can see the top of my head now. Everything is so exciting. Okay, hi Arlene, welcome back, and hi Mary Eileen. So nice to have you guys back with us. Okay, I'm gonna whisk my dry ingredients together so they are all incorporated. I wanna make sure to get all that coriander mixed into the flour, which again is just regular all-purpose flour. Okay, dry ingredients, done. I'm gonna set that aside and get a fairly larger bowl. Like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna add all my wet ingredients together. This is almost like a baking recipe. So you're gonna do your dry ingredients, you're gonna do your wet ingredients, and then we're gonna combine into a big mixture, kind of like a pancake, that we're gonna fry. Okay, I have 1 cup of milk. This is whole milk, but you could use whatever milk you have. You could even use a nut milk if you prefer to be dairy-free. I do have an egg, just 1 large egg that I'm gonna crack right in there. And then I have some fresh lemon zest and some freshly ground pepper. So about 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper and zest from about half a lemon or a whole lemon if you like a brighter flavor. Either of those would be fine. The recipe is fairly flexible that way. Okay, I'm gonna put that aside. Rachel Rambo is my goddaughter from Jackson, Wyoming. Oh, so nice that people are getting their families to join. Instagram is struggling. Okay, let me check on it in 1 second. Sometimes from the remote office, the interwebs do not work as wonderfully as we would like. So I'm gonna check on Instagram and see what I can do about that. All right. Well, I see it happening on my end. Wave, wave, wave. I see people waving. Mary Eileen. I see California Model Princess. I see lots of people. Okay, I'm gonna have to let this go and hope that it works well. All right. Okay, back to it. So I just added all of my wet ingredients, which includes 1 cup of milk, 1 egg, some lemon zest and pepper. I know lemon zest and pepper aren't technically wet ingredients, but for this purpose, we're mixing them into the wet ingredients. So I've got my whisk. You want to make sure that egg is all whipped up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my dry ingredients to the wet and gradually whisk. I might change out my whisk for a spatula. I'm going to do this in 2 additions. So 1. Now what you can do is you can keep a little extra milk or a little extra flour on hand so that if your mixture seems too dry, you can add a little bit more milk, and if it seems like it's a little too wet, you can add a bit more flour. I'm going all in. Okay. Get all of that goodness in here. All right, let's see. Healthy eating. It's true. So this is a really healthy recipe. And I want to talk more about that. I've been eating a lot of vegetables lately. They are widely available at the grocery store, and I love to invent new recipes with these guys. So let's take a quick peek here. We've got like a batter. So almost like a pancake batter. We are ready to go there. I'm going to put this aside. We won't need our whisk anymore. And I'm going to show you our beautiful, colorful veggies. Now, one of the things, aside from this being a really healthy recipe, we are pan frying, but it's olive oil, and we're going to talk about frying in olive oil again. I know this is a hot issue, no pun intended for everyone, but we have fresh veggies. It's very healthy, even with the pan frying. There's not a lot of complex ingredients here. It's really, really simple. So I have here, you can see this beautiful confetti array of orange and green. I have 1 large zucchini, so about 2 cups of zucchini once it's shredded. I use the fun shredder in my food processor to do this. This is really good. And about 1.5 cups of carrots, also shredded. So I chose like a pretty fine shred. I have 2 settings, 2 different blades that I can use, and there's a thicker one, but I went for the finer one. So I'm gonna plop those in there. Get them all inside. Fabulous. And then I have about 2 to 3 scallions that I've chopped really finely. I'm gonna add that in too. You could certainly add a couple more if you wanted to. So scallions are fantastic for spring. I mean, these are spring onions, as I said before. So it's a really great addition. It's like a brighter flavor. It's not as, I want to say it's not as oniony. I don't know if that's going to make any sense to you, but it's got like a little bit more of like a sharp bite that I really like. It's not as overpowering as an onion. And these are delicate vegetables. You know, I mean, zucchini has a lot of water. Carrot has some sweetness to it, obviously. So, you know, I don't want to overpower this with like a big red onion or something like that. I want it to be a little bit more delicate than that. Okay, so I have my batter. I might add a little bit more flour to this, but I'm not sure. I think we're gonna see how this goes in the pancake world. It is a little thin, but I don't know. It's still pretty good. So we are gonna give that a try. Okay, what you're supposed to do right now is let this rest for 30 minutes. Now we're gonna let it rest a little while, probably not 30 minutes because you'll be bored to tears, but we can make our yogurt dipping sauce and heat up our pan, and so it'll rest for a little while. So I'm gonna put it aside. Okay, a little fresh mint, cilantro. Just you wait, Arlene, you and I are on the same page. Yes, absolutely. It's actually gonna go in the dipping sauce, but you could certainly add it right into the fritter as well. I think cilantro will be great here. You could also use parsley, a little bit of mint, like you said. Even maybe some lemon thyme would be really nice. I finally planted my herbs outside, which I'm really excited about. So I have some lemon thyme growing. I have 3 different kinds of basil. I don't even know what 2 of them are. It's pretty exciting stuff. Okay, I'm gonna heat up my wonderful little skillet here. Love cilantro. I know, who loves cilantro? Hands, I love cilantro. Some people do not love cilantro. It's okay. Okay, I have here, this is our Colavita Premium Italian olive oil, and I'm gonna put enough in my pan so it coats the entire bottom. And I like this flavor, or this blend of our olive oil. This is 100% Italian. And I really like it. It has a peppery flavor, which I think goes really nicely with the fritters. So I think this is a really good choice for pan frying. You could also use something more mild, like our California blend. That would be nice too. Depends on what you're kind of looking for. I'm looking for a little pepper here, so that's why I want to use this. Okay, I'm gonna let that heat up, and I'm gonna get a spoon. Okay, I've got my spoon, and we are gonna make our herb Greek yogurt dipping sauce. And for that, I have a tiny mixer. Look at this thing, isn't this cute? This is one of my favorite little mixers. It's perfect for making little sauces and stuff like that. Okay, let's see. So I have here, for my dipping sauce, I have half a cup of Greek yogurt. I actually used a 2% here. You could use a fat-free if you feel like that's better for you. You could also use whole. I am not afraid of milk fat or yogurt fat. I think it's really nice, especially I feel like you might actually want a little bit of that fat with all these bright vegetables. To have a little bit of that fat is going to be really nice to cut all the brightness of the veggies. So, my personal opinion. Okay. Then we have a tablespoon of tahini. This is going to give it like that little bit of sesame flavor. So I'm going to put that in right there. Okay. Oopsies. Yeah. We're making a mess today. Then I have my herbs. Now, if you happen to have gotten carrots that have the tops, you can use some of the tops in your little herb dressing. I didn't get those, so I have here cilantro that I'm going to add in. I also had some parsley, but my cilantro looked like it was going to wander off until the big herb garden in the sky, so I really wanted to use it. So that is why I'm using exclusively cilantro in this recipe. I think the recipe on the website and in the comments, by the way, if you're looking for the comments, yes, any milk you want. If you're looking for the recipe, it will be in the post. It's also on colavita.com, so you can find it there. Okay, then I'm going to use a little pinch of salt. I'm going to start off like a quarter of a teaspoon, and if I need more, I'll add it. And then I'm going to also add about a tablespoon of our olive oil. And if I will keep this handy just in case I need it. Okay, then we're going to blend. So, excuse the loud noise. Okay. Now, the best thing to do, my little mixer has seen better days, sadly, but it still works. The best thing to do is scrape down the sides so that everything gets in there. You might need to just pull off the top of your mixer and help it out with the spatula a little bit. Okay, and then we blend once again. That is good. Now you can make this in advance if you'd like. I love making dips and sauces in advance and just keeping them on hand. So you can, put this in a Tupperware container, a nice little jar, and keep it in your fridge for up to a week. I think that's a really good thing to do. I had a bowl for this. Here it is. Okay, so we're going to take it out of here, and put it in our cutest little bowl. And then we'll have that ready to go. Now at this point, you might want to taste it. Let's do that, shall we? Oh, that's good. So you could add a little bit more salt or pepper here if you felt like it needed a little bit more seasoning, but I think what I've got going on is just right. You could also, if you wanted a thinner dipping sauce, you know, this is pretty thick. You could add, I would add a little bit of water, just like maybe a couple tablespoons at a time, 1 or 2 tablespoons to thin it out. That is something you could do if you felt like you wanted a little bit of a thinner sauce, but I like this creaminess here. I think that's really great. Okay, so we have all of our dipping sauce in this cutest little crock pot here, and now I am going to begin to fry. Okay, let's put this down. The holding area on the floor, that's what that is. Okay, we're going to do a quick little cleanup, and I'm going to test our oil for pan frying. So, can you freeze these? Oh my goodness, yes. If you want to freeze them, so I would make them and then freeze them. So absolutely. I actually have some sitting in my freezer already. So definitely, fritters are a great thing to freeze and reheat. I absolutely encourage that. And this recipe does make a lot, so you know, I think having some today and then maybe saving some for next week or the week after in the freezer is the way to go for sure. Okay, I'm gonna pull back my batter, and we're gonna have to do a little testing to see how hot our oil is. So pan frying in olive oil. Ha ha ha, I know. I think I smell this and it smells very hot. So we're gonna just test a little bit. Yes, I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds. Okay, so we'll talk about pan frying. So pan frying in olive oil, I like to use a nice wide pan like this and put maybe about 1/4 inch of oil in the bottom and let it heat up with the pan. And you know, my temperature here is not gonna go above 350 degrees, so we are well within the safe range of frying with olive oil, and you're gonna get all the health benefits of olive oil and all the flavor. So that is, to me, I actually don't use other oils. I just always use olive oil. So it's a great use for it. It's not that much, you're not wasting it, and you're gonna get super flavorful and healthy food. Also, olive oil, because extra virgin olive oil, because it's not refined, is really a much more stable oil for high heat. So, you know, doing something like this, it's not going to be as reactive as some other oils that are more refined. So good to know. I have a few other things handy here. I have my metal spatula, very handy for flipping things. And then I have a little baking tray that I've lined with paper towels, and this little cooling rack like you might use for baking. So when I fish them out of here, you know, often I'll just put them on a paper towel, but this will allow the oil to sort of drip off rather than absorb back into it. So if you have one of those, it's a great thing to use. Okay, let's see, any questions? Not yet. Okay, we're gonna see how our little tester is doing. Oh yeah, okay. I think we can go to town. I'm just gonna fish this guy out because we don't need him taking up space. Okay, so when I do this, I'm gonna make them mini pancake size. It's almost like a latke in a way. And I'm gonna set them out, probably no more than 4 in this pan because I don't want to overcrowd it. When you add too much to your hot pan, that's gonna bring down the temperature of the oil. So I don't want to add too much. And we're gonna do one and see what our batter situation is here. So I have one heaping, this is pretty heaping, tablespoonful, and I'm gonna set it in here and kind of flatten it to push it out. That's a big one. We might make smaller ones next time, but you know, size is up to you, but that's a pretty big little, that's a pretty big fritter, but I think that'll be good. So we're gonna fry it for about 3 minutes on each side, or so. You want them to be a really nice golden brown color. Okay, I'm gonna try for a slightly smaller scoop here for my next one. Fabulous. This one's kind of square. We can make different shapes. It's a very malleable batter. And as you can see, there's a lot of it. So, all right, I think I'm gonna do just 3 for now so I don't get too crowded. And we have 1 in each kind of shape and size, so you guys can vote to see which you like best. Okay, let's give those a few minutes and then we will test them. So, right? Spring-loaded scoops, exactly. Arlene brings up a very good point. So using a spring-loaded scoop, like an ice cream scoop, to control portion size is a really great idea. It's also really handy for baking. If you're filling muffin tins, you can just kind of scoop it in there. I do love that. It's a good call. It's in the kitchen though, and I don't want to leave you guys again. There's always something I forget when I'm doing this. Luckily, I haven't forgotten the actual food, but sometimes I do forget an appliance or utensil. Okay, so we're gonna give these a little test here. Ooh, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. I actually think these are coming out a little bit better than the ones on the website. Aren't you guys lucky? Okay, we're gonna give that another minute or so. So these would be great. I think these are a great snack. Midday, heat up like a little fritter with a little bit of Greek yogurt. You got some nice protein, you've got your veggies. I actually think they're nice for breakfast. It's kind of English muffin sized, so you could even, you could put a sunny side up egg on top of that. It would be really nice. So these are all the options. You could probably put them right in the toaster to heat them up too. So I like this, it's versatile. It's also a great side dish, of course. We could try some different shapes. Why don't we do that next, just so you guys can see how a different shape might fry up. So that is beautiful. I'll lift it up when it's done, but it's looking really nice. This one I should have given a little bit more time, so we can flip him back over in a few. You do know that your pan has hot spots, so often things that are closer to the center will get a little more brown than stuff that's on the edges, which is what happened there. But these look really good. Apparently my hot spot is over here. Good to know. All right, so these look great. So why don't we try maybe some smaller sizes, almost like a croquette. It's not gonna hold a ball shape because it's just too pancakey for that, but you could do minis, almost like silver dollar pancakes. Those would be really great as appetizers if you're planning a party of 1, or maybe for people already in your house. You could do them really small and then plate them up with a little swish of this yogurt sauce and some chopped scallions and herbs on top and do a whole platter. And that's really great finger foods. We're gonna try that next after I fry these big guys. You guys help me think of ideas on the go. I love that. Okay, different shapes might work. You know, it's funny. Hi Trisha, thank you for joining us on Instagram. It's nice to have you back. I think different shapes, something like this is fun for kids because we can definitely, we're gonna try maybe a heart shape. See how malleable the dough is. So we're gonna experiment. Okay, that one looks good. So this, I want to draw your attention to the actual oil here because it is just simmering so beautiful. There's no smoke. There's nothing that's going crazy and like spitting up, you know, different particles of food and oil and burning me. It's just really nice and controlled, and these guys are turning a gorgeous golden brown. So this is, you know, a perfect frying situation here. I don't know if you guys remember the rice balls from a couple weeks ago, but that was a much messier situation. Still very controlled frying, but way messier. I have not made rice balls since. I will again. I just need to warm back up to it. Takes a little while. Okay. Let's see. A couple more minutes on that guy. Let's see how you're doing, sir, because I messed you up. Always happens. This one, however, whoops, this one is perfect. So I just want you guys to see this. This is super hot, so I don't want to touch it. But look how gorgeous. It's crispy, it's golden, it's orange and green. So I'm going to put that over here. And I'm going to let these guys finish up. In the meantime, I'm going to try to make a couple minis. So I'm going to take like a tiny scoop here. So these would be like party appetizers, snacks for game day, all kinds of options here. I'm going to make 2 of those so you guys can see what that might be like and dress them up. Okay. So this is like your entree portion. Now we're doing our little appetizer portion. And then maybe we'll try some shapes. I'm always, oh, this is gorgeous. I'm always trying to think of ways to get kids interested in cooking. I think it's a great way to teach them, is to make it a little fun for them. Yeah, look at him, he's so pretty too. So if you can think of things like that, like how to make shapes with your batter, your pizza dough, fun stuff like that, that can be hands-on. I know frying can be a little dangerous, needs supervision, but this could be something that would be really fun for kids to do, and maybe get them to eat their vegetables. Depends on the kid, right? Okay, let's try. I want more room for the heart, so I'm just gonna make one more really little small guy over here. So when you place these down, you have a little time to kind of push things where you want. So this batter is really nice to work with like that. Okay, like a healthy hash brown. Shannon, you are absolutely right. It is like a healthy hash brown. I love that. We're gonna get you out of there. Okay, let's see if we can make a heart. We ready? I don't know if I am. Okay, let's try. So I think it could be handy to have a knife, but we're gonna try it without. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a healthy scoop and plop it down. Try to get a point. Push out the top parts and then pull down the center. That's why a knife might be handy, but I think I've got something that kind of looks like a heart. Let's see if it actually retains that shape when I try to flip it. It's definitely not the best heart I've made, but I think it's a heart. You'll tell me. Okay, let's flip our minis. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. So those are coming. I really like this mini size, actually. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another spoon. Luckily, I have a large supply of food photography and cooking props over here, and spoons I'm never lacking. So I can just step over there instead of running to the kitchen. All right. So something you could serve this with, if you were serving this as a side dish, I would do, honestly, grilled salmon would be lovely with this. I think salmon or a whitefish or some roast chicken or some roasted chicken thighs, something like that. I have to get this guy going again. So anything like that would be really great. Or you could go completely vegetarian and you could do a, I think we have a recipe for an herb-crusted or spicy tofu. That would be really nice with this also. All right, let's see here if I can flip this heart without destroying it. Also a trick when you're frying, always flip away from you so the oil doesn't splatter on you like it did to me just then. I was more concerned with flipping my heart and keeping it intact than not burning myself. Okay, this guy needs a little bit more time. He's gonna go over to the hot area. And look at how cute our little minis are and how perfect. So I'm gonna put those there for a second and then I'm gonna show you how, oops, wow, they're slippery, how I would plate those up. And in the meantime, I will fry up another one. This will just be a regular circle. I know, how boring. A few regular circles are good. So this is a great recipe to batch and freeze and have on hand. You could make different sauces. So one thing, let me just get a plate here. Something that I love to think about is dipping sauces and different vinaigrettes using olive oil. Because you can often make those ahead and it completely changes the profile of the dish. So for this we used a Greek yogurt with herbs and tahini, but you could do something with avocado, mashed avocado, along with the Greek yogurt and maybe some parsley. We have a lot of recipes like that on the Colavita website, so colavita.com, and click on recipes, and there are sauces and dressings, so I would check that out. We have a lot of great ones. Okay, I'm gonna get our last little guy here. Okay, I'm gonna show you my heart. We're just gonna let it drain for a second, and then I'm gonna plate up my minis and show you the heart shape. I'm also going to add another little one to my pan. So tonight I was thinking of having these with tofu that I'm going to do like a ginger dressing with, which I think will go nicely with the scallions, or some chicken cutlets. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I was kind of saving the chicken for tomorrow, where I'm going to do chicken parm. It's a staple in our house, chicken parm. Okay. Mom is here. They look delicious. Thank you, Mom. A garlic aioli would be yummy. Absolutely. Love your kitchen setup. Thank you, Chef Julie. This is a fake kitchen setup. I can talk about that in a second. So a garlic aioli would be great. Okay, for our new attendees, for people that have just joined us, I'm making carrot and zucchini fritters with some fresh spring scallions in them. It's a really great way to use your fresh produce of the season in a cute little fried cake that is delicious and healthy. I'm going to fish out this little guy here. So garlic aioli would be fantastic, and Colavita actually has a roasted garlic extra virgin olive oil that you could use as addition to a dressing, and I think that would bring out a really nice flavor. So if you like garlic, you might actually really like that product. Okay, flipping. I'm going to put you over here. Okay, so let's do our little minis because we have 3 of them. Okay, look how cute these are. This is I was using that bowl to cover my mess. Okay, so if I had imagine a big platter of these guys, and I might take just a little bit and do a tiny bit of, that's a little bit too much, and then give it a little swash. I'm not sure what you would call that. Like so. And then I would probably add a few more chopped scallions, or maybe a little spice, like sprinkle a little extra coriander on there. And how cute is that? I'm definitely going to try one. So our heart, I mean, it's kind of a heart. What do you guys think? It's pretty good, right? So you can definitely make some shapes. They might not be completely anatomically accurate to a heart, but you can definitely batter a little bit. Okay, so let's see if we have any other questions as I add a little bit more batter to this fryer. So first thing I want to notice is that, you know, I did say to rest this for 30 minutes, and maybe we rested it for like 7 minutes, I'm not even sure, and it's totally fine. So the resting part does allow the flavors to incorporate a little bit. Since we've got flour, it's going to allow that gluten to strengthen. So that's really why you're resting it. But the other option is that you want to make this batter ahead, go for a walk, I don't know, do some other activities, run some errands, go to work for the day, whatever you need to do. You can mix it up and just leave it in the fridge so you don't have to rush when you get home. I love doing that. It's like just such a lifesaver to come home and you're like, oh, I have the stuff already mixed. Okay. Let's see, we're gonna move you over here and you over to the hot spot. All right, this is going really well. Okay, so I think I'm gonna taste one of these and see how they came out. I was just waiting for them to cool a little bit. Let's see. Oh, I like that. That is really good. So, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I would add, I shouldn't talk with my mouth full, first of all. I would actually add a little bit more lemon zest. So it says 1/4 teaspoon. I would add the zest of an entire lemon in there just for a little bit more brightness. And I think other than that, these are really tasty. So that's something that's really easy to change. Okay. We're gonna flip these guys. I'm gonna get you a little toastier on that side. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Yes, it is great you can freeze them. So let's take you through the whole process one more time, and then I'll answer a few more questions or let you go. But so again, this is very much like a baking recipe. You mix your dry ingredients into your wet, mix it all up, then add your freshly shredded veggies. And based on how runny it looks, you could add a little bit more flour or a little bit more milk. You heat up your olive oil in your pan, wait for it to get nice and hot, and then as soon as you hear that sizzle, you're pretty much ready to go. Fry them about 3 minutes per side. Now for freezing, I would freeze them, I might leave a few in the fridge for a couple of days so I can take those and eat them as I feel like it. But if I want to make a lot, then I'll just stick a whole batch in the freezer and then toast them up when I want them. So if I were going to retoast them, I would probably let them thaw in the fridge overnight just to get that ice, you don't want them completely frozen. I would let them thaw in the fridge overnight, and then I would probably heat my oven up to about 375, line them up on a baking sheet, and just warm them up maybe for about 15 minutes and get them all nice and toasted. You want them to warm through. So you could try your toaster oven, obviously, but you want them to warm through. So I wouldn't just stick them in the broiler for a second. I kind of want to get it all nice and warm throughout. And then your dip, you can make that and have it in the fridge for about a week. And so this is one of those recipes that you could kind of change if you want a little bit of parsley instead of cilantro, or some mint, as somebody suggested. So that's a really nice option to do with this guy. Again, we have different shapes you can make. You can do them as little hors d'oeuvres, or you can do them as big guys, have them for breakfast with an egg or as a side dish. And it's a really nice way to make something different with all these spring veggies that you have out right now, which is really exciting to see them. All right, so if anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to get back and answer them if I didn't get to them during the broadcast. And Thursday, I believe we're continuing on with veggies and vegetarian recipes. We're going to have our white bean burger for you. But please head over to colavita.com and sign up for our newsletter, where we give you all the updates. We're going to give you the recap with the video of what I made today, and you'll get the recipes that we're going to be cooking, plus all our fun little updates and product announcements and all that kind of stuff. So we would love it if you would sign up for our newsletter. And then if you don't already follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Colavita USA, please do, and you'll be able to take part in our polls, which is fantastic. So you can vote for what I'm gonna make next time, because that's how this whole thing works. So I hope you guys had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, and if you try this recipe, please take a photo and tag us. We would love to repost your wonderful creations. And if you have any questions, just shoot them over in the comments. Anything else? Taking a quick look here. I think that is it. So thank you all for watching me make carrot and zucchini pancakes with scallions. And I will see you all Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And as a final reminder, which I forgot to do in the beginning of this episode, is say, if you'd like to share a watch party on your Facebook page, we would love it. It's a great fun way to interact during this time when we're not always able to be next to the person we'd like to watch something with. All right, ciao for now, everyone, and thank you so, so much for joining me.